Good Saturday morning, everybody. Welcome to my WPIAL Week 9 recap. I'm Mason Speski, your host here with you. And for today, Today, we're going to go through these games really quickly because I want to get into the teams that are going to qualify for the WPIAL playoffs. The full list of qualifiers is up, and I will go through those teams with you in a little bit. So, yeah, we'll do that. Playoff pairings get released today at 3 p.m., probably at some point later today, tomorrow, or this week. I will make my brackets up, and I will do my official brackets. And hang on. Sorry about that. I will do my official brackets for the playoffs, and then I will pick my games, which I'm going to cover for next week with you guys, and we'll go through that all Friday. It'll be a special edition, special episode, and then at that point, after that, we'll just get back into the normal pick your 8 games kind of jazz, and yeah, get back into that kind of thingamajig or whatever you want to call it. WPIAL champion or PIAA state championships are December the 9th, I think. So we'll be going strong until then. If there's any WPIAL teams in the state championships, hopefully there's all the WPIAL champions make the state championship and win the state championship. But I doubt that happens because there's some really good teams out east on the other side of the state, that's for sure. Especially, I was looking today because I have a friend that lives out in Philly, who went to high school out in Philly. So I was just looking today at the classifications for their regions that they have, and the 7th, and get this, in District 1, which is like Bucks County, Montgomery County, Chester County, Delaware County, the suburbs of Philadelphia. Get this. My friend's high school was ranked 7th in Class 6A. Guess what their record is? 7-2. There's 33 teams in Class 6A. If you look at our side, we have a whopping 5. Again, I'm not expecting Philadelphia. Let's look this up. I'm trying to look up this for you. Again, I'm not expecting us to compete with Philly in that regard. Right now, the Philadelphia metro area has the 7th highest population ranked. The first, obviously, being New York City metro, second LA, third Chicago, fifth Dallas, fourth is Dallas, 5 is Houston, 6 is DC, and then 7th is Philadelphia metro area, the Delaware Valley, which is like those regions in Philly and stuff. I am not expecting us to compete with them for population and classifications. However, that's a little scary for WPIAL teams that want to compete on the field with those kind of teams in the state championships. If you are at 7-2 record and you are ranked 7th in Class 6A, I'd have to imagine 1, 2, and 3 are undefeated. Let's look it up. Let's go to District 1. I'll tell you what the top teams in District 1 Class 6A's records are to see how they stack up with us, our side, in terms of states. I mean, there are some teams that can win a state championship on our side. I mean, I really like Pittsburgh Central Catholic. I really like Peters Township. Bell Vernon, obviously, is super good. Fort Cherry has potential, but I think Peters Township is the best. Okay, Central Bucks West. They're number 1, 10-0. Downington East, 9-0, is number 2. I told you, top 3 teams are undefeated. Isn't that crazy? Souderton, 10-0. So if you put Central Bucks West up against Pittsburgh Central Catholic for the state championship, I don't know if I like I don't know if I like Central Catholic's chances. And we're about to get into Central Catholic because they had a big win last night, but I don't know. I think if you look at the big picture, I think Peters Township and Bell Vernon have a legitimate chance at a state championship. maybe Fort Cherry for A. But other than that, I don't know. I don't like Pittsburgh Central Catholic's chances at all. I don't know if they even like Aliquippa's chances. So really, I would just look out for Peters, Township, and Bell Vernon. That's just my take on that. But anyway, the point being is if any WPIAL teams make that state championship, which will be difficult to say the least, we'll cover it. So I don't expect too much of that because, like I said, I hope all 6 WPIAL champions make it. Possibly runner-ups make it as well. Represent our side of the state well. Don't have anything on the Philly side of the state, but I don't think so. I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty quiet year for the WPIAL states, unfortunately. But anyway, let's just get into this action so we can preview WPIAL playoffs real quick. And it's a busy day for me, and I'm sure it's a busy day for you, so we'll see. All right, Mars defeated North Catholic 17-14. Mars positioned themselves for a great playoff win. They won their section. This is huge, and that proves they're ready to possibly compete for a WPIAL title. So, very exciting time for Mars. 17-14 win. And it was a big one because it was on the road. It was at North Catholic, so that makes it feel even better for Mars. Central Catholic, we just talked about them a couple minutes ago in terms of the state playoff picture. Let's look at the WPIAL right now. Central Catholic defeated Gateway 51-7. Last night, they are a dominant force. There is no question about it. However, I'm starting to, after I read those WPIAA, and this is just District 1. This is just District 1. The PIAA state championships, I was just reading that and looking at them. They may be a dominant force, but certainly they're not the most dominant force. So it's going to be a rough road after WPIALs for Pittsburgh Central. I mean, I do think they'll, and I'm not trying to spoil anything, but I do think they'll win WPIAL Class 6A. It's pretty easy at this point because they did beat North Allegheny pretty handedly when they played, and they do have potential, and they are a very good team. However, it's just, I don't know if they're the team. We'll find out in the next 6 weeks whether or not they are the team. Cannon McMillan pulled off a win 41-28 over Mount Lebanon last night. This was huge because it sets the 6A bracket officially. Winner got the 3, loser got the 4. This means Cannon Mac will be the 3 seed. They will play 2 seed in North Allegheny. And Mount Lebanon is the 4 seed. They'll play the 1 seed Pittsburgh Central Catholic Vikings. Those matchups are not this coming Friday, but they are Friday, November the 10th. So keep an eye out. Penn Hills pulled off a 26-21 win over Woodland Hills last night. It's going to be a tough team to defeat this postseason. However, the WPIAL title does run through Peters Township. They are the 1 seed convincingly, and they're simply amazing. But this was a great win for the Indians. Julian Duggar, pick commit, obviously looks good as always. Great night, though, for the Indians. I feel like we're covering them an awful lot, so I'll probably not pick them next week for a game. However, we will get to them, though, again, probably, because I could see a deep run for them. I don't think they're going to get past Peters Township. I don't think anybody is. And although I did just say a couple minutes ago I'm going to contradict myself here, talk out of both sides of my mouth, which I'm kind of good at, but I don't like to do it. But I'm going to do it real quick now. I know I said it would be tough for the WPIAL teams to compete with some of those teams out east, especially District 1 and the other districts out east, but I think Peters can do it. I think Peters Township and also Bell Vernon are the 2 teams in the WPIAL that are most likely to win a state championship. I can definitely see Peters Township winning a state championship easily. So that's going to be a tough one for everybody. West Mifflin 35, South Park no score. This one surprised me a lot. I didn't expect South Park to play the way they did last night. It was disappointing for sure for South Park fans. So yeah, this surprised me a lot. And West Mifflin's here to compete. As for South Park, they're probably going to get a low playoff seed and have a sore postseason run, but they still had a good season, and South Park's still a very good football program in the WPIAL. McKeesport got a big win last night, 28-7 over Thomas Jefferson. McKeesport's a dominant team. They're ready for a playoff run in Class 4A. I hope to see that Aliquippa McKeesport championship for 4A because that would be a really interesting, exciting, enjoyable game to watch. So yeah, as for Thomas Jefferson, I don't think they have it this season, unfortunately. So yeah. Aliquippa Quips defeated the Central Valley. I think they're Central Valley Vikings. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on their name. I'm sorry, Central Valley fans, but Aliquippa won 27-17. Aliquippa, Central Valley, not an interesting matchup. Aliquippa handled them easily, and Quippa's poised for a run, so we'll see how far that run takes them. It might take them to a WPIAL championship. It might take them to a state championship, so it'll be interesting to see. That's for sure. Was High defeated McGuffey 13-7 on Friday night. Was High found a way to get revenge for that tough loss they took last week at the hands of Keystone Oaks. As for McGuffey, this is definitely a tough loss for sure for them. However, they've had a great year, and they're going to look to keep their run alive in the playoffs. So without further ado, let's get into seeing who the qualifiers are for the playoffs, because that's all the games. That's all the games for the regular season at this point I have done. My predictions record was 51-25 for the regular season, so very good. We're not going to get into the final record yet because I'm going to do the playoff ones, obviously. And just a heads up, I'm not counting the brackets towards these. I'm only counting the games that I cover and actually do like for my 8 on the show. So yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. That's for sure. So yeah. So how I'm thinking of it is next week's predictions. So I will pick the 8 games. I will do those 8 games. Then I will get into the brackets. Like I'll announce who I think will be in this championship for WPIAL for that class and who will win the WPIAL championship for that class. And I'll probably just hold up my brackets for the camera for you guys to see. So that'll definitely be interesting. That's for sure. I'm not going to go over every little game. So yeah. All right, let's see who's qualified for the WPIAL playoffs. 6A, we already talked about this. We know the matchups, and we're all good there. Class 5A, for the Big East, 3 teams qualified: Gateway Gators, Penn Trafford Warriors, Franklin Regional Panthers. That's Hempfield Sexton. Hempfield did not have a good year, unfortunately, this year. They only won 1 game against our backyard brawl rivals, the Greensburg-Salem Golden Lions. So disappointing year, unfortunately, for Hempfield. Hopefully one day they get back, but congratulations to those 3. They've all had great years. Northeast, only 2 teams qualified. Those 2 teams are the Penn Hills Indians and the Pine Ridge Rams. In the Allegheny 6, 3 teams qualified: Peters Township Indians, Moon Tigers, and Bethel Park Blackhawks. I definitely think Peters Township's the favorite for this conference. And back to 6A, I think Pittsburgh Central is the favorite for that conference. And these aren't who I'm predicting 100%. It's just who I think, or probably, if there were sports books and stuff for betting, who would be the betting favorite. So, yeah. Class 4A, there's 13 teams that qualified. For the Parkway Conference, we have the Aliquippa Quips, Montour Spartans, Central Valley, West Allegheny. I think they're the Indians or the Warriors. I don't know which one, I'm sorry. And the Chartiers Valley Colts. For the Big 8 section, we have 4 teams: McKeesport Wildcats, Thomas Jefferson Jaguars, Latrobe Wildcats, and Trinity Hillers. Good job for Latrobe for qualifying. Local team for us. Greater Allegheny, we have Mars Fighting Planets, the North Catholic Trojans, the Kiski Area Cavaliers, and Highlands. I think they're, I don't know what Highlands is. I think they might be the Rams, but I'm sorry. For Class 3A, we have 12 teams qualifying. In the Western Hills section, we have the Avonworth Antelopes, the West Mifflin Titans, the Beaver Bobcats, the South Park Eagles. So yeah, good job to those guys. The Allegheny 6, we have East Allegheny, and these ones I know some names, but not all. Allegheny 6, we have East Allegheny, number 1, I don't know their name. 2, we have the Knock Knights. 3, Deer Lakes Lancers, and 4, Sadyside Academy. Sorry if I don't know your name. I'm not the best with some of these. Interstate Conference, we have the Belvern and Leopards. We have the Elizabeth Forward. I think they're the Warriors or the Indians. I think they're the Warriors. 3rd seed, we have the Southmoreland Scotties. 4th seed, we have the Mount Pleasant Vikings. 2A now, Allegheny Conference, we have the 1-seeded Still Valley Ironmen, 2-seeded Monte Christian Saints, 3-seeded Sarah Catholic Eagles, 4th-seed Derry Trojans, 5th-seed Burrell Buccaneers. Midwestern Athletic, we have Massanuck, Mohawk, and the 3rd seed will be the winner of the Beaver Falls Western Beaver winner game, and the 4th seed will be the loser of that game. 5th seed Elwood City. The Century Conference, we got Washington, the Prexies, McGuffey, Keystone Oaks, and Waynesburg Central. Now down to Class A. It's split evenly, 4 teams amongst the 4 conferences. For the Big 7, we have Southside, Union, Rochester, and Laurel. Those guys all got in. Congrats to them. Eastern Conference, we have the Clareton Bears, the Greensburg Central Catholic Centurions, the Jeanette Jayhawks, and the Latesburg Blue Devils. Black Hills, we have Fort Cherry, Bishop Canavan Crusaders, Cornell Raiders, Burgettstown, I think they're the Blue Devils as well. Tri-County South, we have the California Trojans, West Green Pioneers, Jefferson Morgan, I think they're the Rockets, and the Menneson Greyhounds, my dad's hometown, and where our family's at, so definitely fun to see those games for sure. I think it's going to be an interesting postseason. Can't wait for the ride with you guys. Can't wait for the brackets today at free. I will not be doing a bracket reaction, so though, unfortunately. We'll react to the brackets and talk about them Friday night when we preview some WPIAL playoff games. So that's when I'll be doing that. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy this week. Happy Halloween. Take care. Stay safe. Pray for Israel. And as always, peace. See you Friday night, round 1 of the WPIAL playoffs. Let's do this.